Hi, my name is Phillip Day from Credence Publications and the Campaign for Truth in Medicine. I am delighted to welcome Peter Josling from the Garlic Centre. Peter's, for many years, has been doing work on garlic compounds and the extract of garlic, which we're going to talk about today, Allicin. Welcome, Peter, and thank you for flogging through the gale and getting here. Now, perhaps you can just, first of all, explain to the viewers who you are and the amazing news that you've got to share with us today.
Sure, Philip. I started the Garlic Centre about 20 years ago when I became totally fascinated with this amazing bulb. And
so there was no Garlic Centre before you, then?
No.
Nobody was specifically kind of interested in this stuff enough to be able to get into it?
No, there's been one or two American experts, but there has never been a European expert. And I get called now the garlic guru or the garlic
So you
czar.
are Mr. Garlic, basically?
Basically, yes. And I've been lucky enough to work with raw garlic, cooked garlic, and a whole plethora of garlic supplements. And this has fortunately led us to the invention of the first ever stabilised extract of allicin. Allicin, for those of you who don't know, is garlic's natural defence mechanism. And up until recently it's been a very unstable chemical that no one's been able to produce in large quantities. But with a little bit of chemical knowledge, which I brought to bear, and a little bit of luck really, we've finally managed to stabilise this allicin on a commercial scale and put it into proper products. The nice thing about this stabilised allicin extract is that it kills funguses, viruses and bacteria without any problem at all.
And the body seems to accept this natural, because we know all the problems with side effects with drugs, but the body seems to be able to recognise a natural food in a way that we don't really understand yet, and this is why a lot of vitamins that are synthesised can present problems as against the natural alternatives. When we look at garlic, though, we're seeing a natural substance where we take the extract out, you're saying, and we're using that in many times more potency that you would ever get away with eating the garlic and keeping your marriage.
Sure. Well, allicin is actually not found in a garlic clove. It's only produced when that garlic clove is cut, crushed, booked, chopped, stir-fried or whatever, processed. So it's garlic's natural defence mechanism, so it's only ever needed when the garlic is being attacked by something. And that allicin is very unstable, so as soon as you've made it, it's changing into lots of other chemicals and disappearing. Now, what we've been involved with in the last 6 or 7 years is a process whereby we can actually capture this allicin, stabilise it by diluting it with ordinary water, and that means we end up with an extract of real allicin that has the most...
That doesn't decay.
Exactly, and it has the most amazing biological properties, which we've been researching over the past 6 or 7 years.
Does it stink as badly as
it does? I mean, if you chew a clove of real garlic, I'll probably lose my voice in a minute, so it's a bit dangerous, but... Now you see immediately the allicin is being produced, it's burning the back of my tongue, the back of my throat, but it's disappearing immediately, it's changing into lots of other sulfur compounds and my voice is beginning to go.
We'll get you to inhale a helium balloon in a minute and really have a laugh.
So unless you stabilise the allicin, you're not going to be able to utilise it in the human body. And the vast majority of garlic supplements that are available today do not do that. They don't stabilise the allicin and make it available to the body.
So they're just basically getting the usual decaying die-off and very little...
Very little activity. I mean, they have some benefit in terms of some of the other sulfur chemicals that are produced have benefits to the heart and circulatory system, but none of them have ever been tested against killing infectious organisms, for example.
Well, I was fascinated reading in your book that allicin has been credited with superb antibiotic activity, anti-yeast, anti-microbial, and yet this is not being used to any degree in a health system beset with MRSA and these other antibiotic-resistant infections. My question is, why would they not use something like this?
Well, I think the problem here is it's the Medicines Healthcare Regulatory Agency. They perceive garlic as being a herbal treatment, and herbal treatments now apparently can get licensed, but they have to go through all the hoops that
1.5 million to get a license.
Yeah. I mean, we've done basic pharmacology and toxicology on the extract, perfectly safe. You can take tons of the stuff and it's not going to do you any harm. But because we don't have dose dependency studies, we don't have a full toxicology package,
dotting the I's
there's no
across
way
the
is it
T's
going to get to be a licensed medicine. That doesn't mean, however, that hospitals don't use it, because some do. Some hospitals will buy these natural extracts, and in the last 4 or 5 years we've been helping a significant number of patients with wounds that just would not heal, with diseases.
We've been looking at some of this latest data that you sent over with people with amputated legs where they were sent home with an infection. And by the way, sent home with an infection. You know, you're in hospital, you've had surgery, the wound's infected, they can't clear it up, so they send them home?
They do. I'm afraid that's fairly commonplace. In all aspects of this country, there will be people at home who have wounds and infections that they just cannot treat. And that's where this whole story began. We had a young lady, her name was Deborah Brown, with 2 wounds on her back that hadn't healed for 2 years. She was at home. The doctors were expecting to bring her back into hospital to take the metal plates out and replace them. And she said, look, I really don't want another operation. I've had it all once and it didn't work.
Plus the chance of getting more infection.
Exactly, another infection. So we got hold of her, we gave her the Allicin capsules and the cream and the liquid, and literally, Phillip, within 6 weeks she was healed. And she couldn't believe it. And that's what we've been doing ever since for the last 4 or 5 years.
Your book, I did a book 3 or 4 years ago called The ABCs of Disease. So I basically started in acne and went through to varicose veins. Yeah. You've done a similar thing with the garlic book, The Heart of Garlic, Allicin, The Heart of Garlic, where you've looked at non-fatal problems that Allicin has been shown to help, and also some of the more serious issues where we look at cancer and heart disease and this type of thing. How do you think that people should be reacting to the news that they can actually take a natural antibiotic and not have the kind of immune side effects they would get from, say, one of the pharmaceutical preparations? You think you feel pretty strongly that people should really start to...
I can't see why you wouldn't want to take a natural extract, especially if it's a natural antibiotic, because A, it's not going to wreck your immune system, and B, it's not going to destroy any of the friendly bacteria that your body needs to be able to absorb the food and the nutrients from the food that you're imbibing.
I mean, I was fascinated to read, for instance, about toenail fungus and about various types of, warts. And,
well, like you say, you can go from head to toe, because all of those conditions, from head lice to warts to acne to psoriasis to eczema, all of them are complicated by infection, by bacterial infection. They cause a secondary infection, which means the condition doesn't heal. So it doesn't really matter what agents you're using. You know, you can be using the most expensive creams known to man that people will queue halfway around the block for. If it doesn't kill out the infection, the invasive organism, there's no way you're going to help your acne or your eczema.